So, back on the Meteor project again today. It's been an exciting week, to be fair, because I've had a massive pile of bits arrive. I've got the wheels came back from Staffordshire Wheel Works. It's an old friend of mine, Joe Brown, who I know from having a proper job a million years ago. Started up an awesome little wheel building company, literally working out of a shed in his garden. Handmade all his own tools for making spokes and for cutting spokes, getting the length right, for drilling rims. Really proper old school kind of hands-on engineering, and yeah, great to see, and really good service. I sent my wheels back, got them back here within 3 weeks, I think, maybe slightly under that, 2 weeks I think it was. And now I've got a 21-inch front rim built onto the original front hub that I had, which is off another classic Royal Enfield model. The beauty of that is the wheels just bolt in. There's no modifying, no spaces, which when we're on the time schedule like we are, it's made a big engineering job a really quick and simple thing. So massively pleased with that. So today's job is going to get trials tyres fitted to those wheels, get the spoked wheels in the bike. I've also got trials handlebars that have turned up. I've got some trials pre-65 style steel or alloy, I think they are, mudguards, which again is a big part of the look of the bike. I think the chrome mudguards are important. Hopefully they'll be fairly simple to fit. That's then kind of all the bolt-on jobs. There's a few more engineering tasks to complete after that, the big one being the footrest. So today I'm also going to have a go at cutting off the old footrest brackets and looking at whether I'm welding or whether I'm going to make some little compression fittings to go through the tubes to get the foot pegs. They actually need to move nearly a foot backwards, so total different position. I have to work out linkages and everything. But yeah, we'll crack on with that. And then because Chris, obviously there's not one project on at the same time, so we've got Uncle Richard's in the house. He's, where is he hiding? He's hiding somewhere behind the post. There he is. Uncle Richard's in the house. He's cracking on with our little 125 endurance racer project, which is also due out at the beginning of April. I don't know why I do this to myself, but yeah. So Rich is in building the Aprilia today as well. And then, of course, I've got my wife's bike to build for the same trial that the Enfield's going out on. So 3 bikes to build in 3 weeks. Along with a full-time job at Bike World to do all the other stuff. So it's going to be a challenge, so I'm going to stop talking and crack on. There's a bit of a, unfortunately, there's a bit of a tyre shortage in the world at the moment, which means Dunlop, who normally sort us out with tyres, are not able to get us trials tyres in time. So thankfully I have some. Unthankfully, they are there. Well, that was an absolute disaster. I don't know if you'll even be able to see on the camera, but I was just trying to get the bead to seat on the tyre, and it exploded in my face, which sucked. So, unfortunately now, this tyre has got a broken bead, the tube has exploded and is useless, so my simple quick job has been foiled. So I think what I'm going to do is chuck an old scrap tyre on temporarily, just because I need the shape and the look of the thing to fit the mudguards. So I've got a scrap tyre and hopefully an inner tube, a second-hand inner tube that will hold air. So I'll chuck that on for now, and at least then we can progress with the build. And then I've put an order in for a pair of heavy-duty inner tubes and some new tyres from my dad. Oh! I might have had a small tantrum because I blew a tyre up in my face. However, I've ordered some new heavy-duty tubes, ordered some new tyres, because the force of the tyre blowing up actually broke the bead of the tyre. I've never had before, so obviously it happens when I'm in a rush. But I found some sort of scrap old tyres that will work enough to make the shape, because I can't really proceed with mudguards and seats and rear subframes and stuff until I know what shape the bike's going to end up. So I'll flip you around. You can see you actually have what looks like, kind of, if you squint, a trials bike. There's quite a lot of change there. So these are the mudguards I found. There's a classic bike company that supplies these. They're actually just an eBay mudguard, but they're, yeah, beautifully handmade mudguards. About I think the front was 65 and the rear was 70, something like that, which isn't the cheapest, but I don't have the tools and equipment to make mudguards. Modifying second-hand mudguards, which I've done before, faffing around with stuff like this is just a bit of a pain. So that was a quick and just kind of bolt-on solution. All I've got to do is make this bracket higher to clear the 21-inch front wheel, and then I can bolt that to the original bracket. Again, nice little shortcut. Next job is to fit the new handlebars. I've got a really nice set of classic alloy handlebars, so I'm going to fit them next. But exciting, it does start to look like a trials bike. Okay, so we're not quite at Dire Straits yet, but here's where we are. It's Friday the 3rd. No, it's not. Sunday the 3rd of April. The trial starts on Friday in just under 2 weeks' time, and currently the bike looks like this. So it's sort of ready. We have a front mudguard on, still got to change that front tyre, still no headlight, still no handlebar grip, still wires and breather hoses to sort, still no air filter on it. The foot pegs are still about a mile from where they need to be, although I've got a plan for that. There's loads of wiring kicking around all over the shop. That's going to be a big job to tidy up. The rear mudguard is balanced in place. I haven't cut the frame. I'm still on the standard seat and the standard tank at the moment. Wife, dog and child are playing in the garden, and I've locked myself in the garage for a bit longer. I'm still on standard exhaust. So there's a fair bit to do. The biggest engineering challenge right now is getting a set of foot pegs moved back. So I'm kind of going to concentrate on getting that done. Getting these last bits of the frame lopped off, mounting a new battery underneath here to give us a bit more room. 2 weeks is plenty of time to do it. However, in those 2 weeks, I've probably got 2 days maximum, maybe 3, to put into the bike. I've got a couple of big film things with Bike World that I travel away for a couple of day jobs. I've got a few manufacturer-based things to do, running tests and hosting groups of riders. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy couple of weeks. I might end up in the evenings coming in and building all night, but it's part of the fun. At the moment, my plan is get this thing trials worthy. It won't be perfect. It won't be exactly how I envisioned it. So tired, I can't even talk anymore. It won't be perfect, and it won't be exactly how I imagined. How I imagined it, how I saw it beforehand, envisioned it. So it's not going to be finished. It's going to be working. And then after the trial, I'll probably spend another couple of days on it, finishing those last few bits and just getting the little touches that I wanted to put on the bike. But right now the priority is make it work, make it trials ready, and get to the event, because with the best of it in the world, as much as I love making custom bikes and making specials and things, riding them's what it's all about. It's no use having the never-ending project. It needs to be finished, it needs to be ridden. So same as we did with the 950, get it together, get it so it worked, iron out all the crinkles later. Let's get on with it. I think I've come up with a solution for the foot pegs. I've managed to buy, which I've got in a box over here. Again, this was an absolute eBay win. There's a company on eBay that sells these. It's a universal weld-on trials foot peg. And they seem reasonably sturdy made. So they come with the clevis and the hinge, and you just weld this part onto your existing frame. I've then got my next little solution. So that's my plan for the foot pegs. This wiring loom is all a mess. I've got a pancake air filter coming for there, which is like the old style British bike air filter. I need to hide all this wiring loom, which I think is going to have to come up under the seat somewhere. And then the battery did sit there, which was pretty big and ugly. But again, lithium batteries these days, much, much smaller. Some of the lithium batteries are just lighter, and they came in the same size case to make them easier to package on the bike. But I managed to find this one, which is tiny. Compare that to the battery I took off. absolutely tiny. So that is going to save me a ton of space. I think I'm going to mount it up under the bottom of the bike here, and then it's totally hidden, totally out of the way. Looks much better. I do need to check that lithium because I did underspec it slightly to save myself room, so I need to check that lithium has got the oomph to crank that engine. And then it's going to be a case of mudguard. I'm thinking of incorporating some of this rear rail into a bit of a kind of rack and putting a toolbox on the back for long distance trial events. So that's the plan for that. Then I've got a kind of universal custom rear light, a number plate, and we'll be good to go. Next job, check this teeny tiny battery has got enough welly to crank this not so teeny tiny engine over. It's only a 350 to be fair, so there shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but I just want to, before I commit to using it, I want to make sure it actually has the power to fire this bike up. Call that a win. It does sound a little bit lazy on the crank. But plenty enough that it runs the bike. I'm saying that's fine. You lot can hold me to account on that in 2 weeks' time when I'm stranded on Exmoor at 3 AM because I put too small a battery on my bike. But for now, it's a win. So I was just looking at welding these clevises onto there. I'm not totally. The back of the clevis is smaller than the hole, so I'm not. I think it'd be fine, but I'm not totally happy with it. And then I spotted that the standard footrest is mounted on a big steel flat plate that even has the mount for the brake lever on it, which actually would be a pretty good fit. So if I cut that off at the back and weld that whole plate onto the end of there, I can then use my steel footrests in that clevis, and hopefully that's going to be a nice little shortcut. I've now rendered the Meteor unrideable. Better hurry up and weld some foot pegs back on. Good bit of progress for a few stolen hours, so pleased with that. Pleased my little battery worked. And if you zoom right in and just look at that bit, it kind of looks finished. Now I won't lie, I threw a small tantrum last time. I got everything teed up ready to weld the footrests onto the Meteor, which is kind of the bit of this project that has been bugging me most in my mind about how to do it, how to make sure the footrests don't fall off the first time I ride it, how to relocate all the controls. I finally got my head around it all, psyched myself up, got the welder out, and immediately ran out of welding wire, which made me quite grumpy, to be honest. Thankfully, I did a machine mart order, so big box for the stuff arrived. I've got full welding helmet, a new one because my auto welding helmet packed up, and I've got a fresh set of welding wire and gas, just in case my gas decides to run out as well. So next job, today we're going to weld these foot pegs on. Next time I stop to talk to the camera, I'm going to be standing on a pair of foot pegs with a big smile on my face. Feel it's time for some honesty. We always put all the beautiful, wonderful bits and all the awesome stuff. It's easy to skip over the bits that are shit, but I'm having an absolute nightmare trying to weld this thing together. Now, I'm no expert welder, I'm happy to admit that, but I have used welders for a long time and been able to weld. I've never been taught, really, but and as you can see there, the porosity in that weld, I'm no welding expert, but even I can tell that is rubbish. And that was all completely clean before I started. I think the regulator might be playing up on my gas flow, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the third, fourth, fifth time now I've re-attempted that, and I'm just not getting anywhere. I can't ride it on that. It's 9 o'clock at night, which seems 9:30 now. Seems a bit early to be giving up, but my head's fried. My head's gone. I've frustrated with myself. That'd be one of my mates bringing me advice about how to do a better job of welding it after the pictures I sent them. But yeah, I've got less than a week to go. I need to be in there doing it, but right now I'm in a sulk. So there we are. Right, we've had a solution. I've called the grown-ups. Aaron's in the background. I'm keeping his face out of it. He charges too much money if he has his face in it. For those who can't remember the 950 project, Aaron's the wizard that did the wiring loom with me. We've taken that lump off. We've kind of come to the conclusion that the issue I was having is actually just access. I was ending up with the welding torch at a really crappy angle, and that's what was causing the shocking welds, because we've done some test welds on the bench now, and just show you that. There we go. So the test welds came out really, really nicely. So there's nothing wrong with the welder and the settings and the metal we're welding. It's more access. So in order to alleviate the access issue, we're just going to weld the new clevises on. So these are going to go on straight onto the frame, which gives us much better access with the welding torch. And that's going to be plenty strong enough, he says. So yeah, so that's what we're going to switch to now. Try and make life a little bit easier rather than doing a super complex weld. Same little clamping arrangement I had before. Big bolt through it. Hopefully it'll go together with less temper tantrums. And if it does, at least Aaron's here for me to cry at. I'm a fully mature human being. So that's a reasonably large stress sorted. Massive thanks to my mate Aaron for coming round and reassuring me I wasn't going insane. So they're on now. Got one either side. Obviously. It'd be dumb if I'd just done one. Yeah, it's Saturday, so I'm leaving for the trial on Thursday. Monday I've got an appointment booked with Jeff at Cobuilt, so that's the next big step, is get all the exhaust on. Footrests are now on, which I'm so pleased about. And I've got the rear mudguard, and I welded a hoop on the back that actually wasn't in the original plan. But I'm pretty pleased with how the back end is starting to look now. Just got a little tool bag on the top there. This hoop I put on, and happily, that hoop, if I take the tool bag off, I've still got the original mounts, and the hook on the back of the original pillion seat will fit on that. So I can, for future use, clip the pillion seat back on. I can make some little footrests on the swinging arm, and it'll still be a 2-up rideable bike, which, again, not the point of the build, but I think this is going to be a really fun bike to pot around on, so it'd be nice to be able to take wifey on the back and go for a spin, or she can take me on the back. I'm a fidget though, apparently. So yeah, that's I'm going to leave it there for today. Really pleased, managed to get a little gear lever on there as well. That's actually, I think, off a prettier RSV Millet from back in the day. It was in my toolbox, and the splines were the same, and the length was about right. So, chalking that one up as a massive win. And I've managed to bodge together a spare gear lever there, which I've clipped to the subframe. So if I do duff that one off, I've got a spare one with me, which is handy. Yeah, big improvement. I've just mocked up a front headlight in it. Just a little slim one. So I think I'm happy with that. I've got a little number board to go above it, so that's going to give me a little bit of a number board for the trials event. But yeah, big progress today, and yeah, time for some family time. See you later, Meteor.